went and relegated every single Premier League club on FC26 down to League 2, the 4th division of English football, guys. Now, this was a bit of a challenge to do because the Premier League has 20 clubs, but the Championship, League 1 and League 2 have 24 clubs. So this is the way the 4-tier English football system will work in this video. League 2 consists of the 20 Premier League clubs and the top 4 current Championship clubs, which at the time of this recording are Leicester City, Coventry City, Stoke, and Middlesbrough. League 1 has the remaining 20 Championship clubs and the top 4 current League 1 sides, which again currently are Cardiff City, Stevenage, Bradford City, and AFC Wimbledon. While the Championship, the 2nd tier, is the other 20 League 1 clubs and the top 4 current League 2 clubs: Walsall, MK Dons, Grimsby Town, and Swindon Town. And finally, the top tier, the Premier League, it is the remaining 20 League 2 clubs that are not in the top 4. Basically, the entire English football system has been reversed, with the 20 Premier League clubs sitting at the bottom of the English football pyramid. And we will go season by season as we usually do to exactly find out which relegated Premier League clubs can climb all the way back up to the Premier League, and what smaller clubs that are starting all the way at the top in the Premier League can retain their position and stay there. We will monitor who wins the Premier League, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, and how the 4 tiers fluctuate. Now, we did this 2 years ago on FC24, and you guys absolutely loved it, so we're bringing it back on FC26. Also, one last quick thing, guys, before we begin. I am working on some new and fresh content for the channel that isn't based around FC26, and I'm gonna have some news very, very soon. But for now, let's find out how the 20 Premier League clubs perform if they started their journey all the way in the 4th division. Our journey at the end of Season 1 begins in League 2, where the 20 Premier League clubs start, and the clubs that are moving up to the 3rd tier to League 1 with automatic promotion: Newcastle United first on 103 points, so they move up. Liverpool moves up as well. Man City also gets automatic promotion. One of Arsenal, Nottingham Forest, Spurs, or Chelsea also may achieve promotion. Man United and Villa and all of the rest of the Premier League clubs, guys, they miss out, with Stoke, Middlesbrough, and Coventry City being the bottom 3. From League 1 moving up to the Championship, remember, it is the 20 Championship clubs and the top 4 current League 1 sides that are in League 1, and it will be Ipswich Town and Birmingham City. They get automatic promotion to the Championship. One of Norwich, Sheffield, Southampton, Sheffield United, not Sheffield Wednesday, and Swansea will also go up, and this is the rest of the League 1 table. Now, who is going down to the 4th tier? It is, well, there's Sheffield Wednesday alongside Stevenage, Bradford City, and Charlton Athletic. But AFC Wimbledon actually survives with all the Championship sides in the league. We move up to the Championship, where it is the 20 League 1 clubs and the top 4 League 2 clubs. Now, who is going up to the Premier League, the big boy league? Luton Town is back in the Premier League, guys, as a League 1 club. They won the Championship, and Blackpool, yes, Blackpool also gets automatic promotion. One of Bolton, MK Dons, Wycombe Wanderers, and Rotherham United will also get promoted. Leighton and Plymouth Argyle and the rest of the table looks like so. They all stay in the Championship. With going down, it is Doncaster, Grimsby Town, and Northampton Town. They all go down to League 1. Which club will receive the inaugural Premier League trophy with this backwards English football system? Well, it's going to be a League 2 side, obviously, and it's Crawley Town. Crawley Town wins the Prem on 68 points, 3 points over Fleetwood. Shrewsbury is a top 3 club. Notts County finished in 4th. Cambridge United, Bromley, Chesterfield, Colchester, Bristol Rovers, and Crewe rounded off the top 10. This is the rest of the table with all these clubs staying up. Now, which clubs are leaving the Premier League? It is Barrow, it is Tranmere Rovers, and it is Accrington Stanley, who were absolutely horrendous, only on 3 wins and 26 points. But just take a look how close that relegation race was, guys. Newport County finished in 13th on 46 points, while Barrow finished 18th on 40 points. There was only a 6-point gap between 13th and 18th. We go to the FA Cup. I told you we're gonna have surprises, guys. Look at these semifinals. It is Bournemouth versus Brighton, Man City versus Hull City. Bournemouth lost to Brighton 3-2 narrowly, while Man City narrowly beat Hull City, so it was Brighton versus Man City, and unfortunately we don't have any surprises in the winner. It is Manchester City. And the Carabao Cup in Season 1, City versus Chelsea, Liverpool versus Bristol City. Bristol City made a deep run. They could not get by Liverpool, though. The final, Liverpool versus Manchester City, and Liverpool took down the Carabao Cup. Sadly, we didn't have any shockers in the cup competitions, but I'm hoping that we will as we go forward. Before we go to the end of season 2, we need to see which Premier League club got promoted out of the 4th division into the 3rd division via the playoffs. Remember that Newcastle, Man City, and Liverpool got automatic promotion, and the 4th team that came up via the playoffs, it was Arsenal. Those 4 clubs are playing League 1 football in season 2 and got a head start on everybody else that's still in the 4th tier. Who will follow suit at the end of season 2 to rise up from the 4th division into the 3rd? Guess who? Manchester United, 96 points, followed by Chelsea and Spurs also getting automatic promotion, 96, 96, 93, with Palace just missing out. They finished in 4th, so they got to play in the playoff, but they still finished on 90 points. Aston Villa, Everton, and a surprising Wolves can also go up. Will they, though? From League 1 going up to the 2nd tier, yes, you have it correct. It is the clubs that you expect. Manchester City and Liverpool back-to-back promotions going up to the 2nd tier now, with Newcastle and Arsenal both being in the playoffs with Bristol City and Watford, but only one of Newcastle and maybe Arsenal will get promoted. Both of them can't go up, so one of them will for sure stay in the 3rd tier for at least another season. The rest of the table looks like this, with Sheffield United, Norwich, and Hull City, and Swansea rounding off the top 10. This is the rest of the League 1 table, with Wimbledon, Grimsby Town, Northampton, and Doncaster going down to the 4th division, guys. Blackburn narrowly avoided relegation by 2 points. From the Championship going up to the Premier League, wow, more and more back-to-back promotions. Ipswich Town and Birmingham City going up to the Premier League, finishing 1-2. Huddersfield Town, Southampton, Wycombe Wanderers, and Wigan Athletic are your playoff teams. The rest of the table, with Plymouth Argyle sitting in 9th and Stockport County rounding off that top 10 in the Championship. Who is going down to League 1? It is Barrow, it is Port Vale, and it is Walsall. They keep crashing further and further down the list. And your 2nd Premier League season winner, with no Premier League clubs being around, not even any Championship clubs being around, it's Chesterfield. Chesterfield. Are you a Chesterfield fan? Comment down below if you support Chesterfield, because you just won the Prem on 76 points. Bristol Rovers came close, 22 wins, only 3 points back of Chesterfield, while the promoted side in Luton Town, they finished in 3rd, but they couldn't get by Bristol Rovers and Chesterfield. Notts County 4th place once again, Bolton finishing in 5th. Crawley Town dropped to 6th after winning the Premier League in season 1, while Blackpool, after getting promoted, they finished in 7th. The rest of the table, this is it right here, with unfortunately and sadly Oldham Athletic leaving the Premier League, Newport County leaving, and Cambridge United too. How many of these clubs will continue to stay in the Premier League, though, as some of the bigger clubs make their way up to the top? FA Cup in Season 2. Here we go. Brentford beats Forest. That's your semi-final number 1. The other semi-final, Man United versus Southampton, and Man United gets by Southampton on penalties. It is Brentford versus Manchester United for the FA Cup. Brentford beats them on penalties, guys. Brentford, FA Cup winners. I told you we're gonna have some absolute shockers. So you guys like surprises. Well, what about the Carabao Cup? Do we got any surprises there in season 2? Of course we do. Of course. It wouldn't be a Tsar FC video if there wasn't any surprises. Your semifinals of the Carabao Cup. Bristol City versus Reading. Okay, the other one, Preston North End versus Aston Villa. The final was Bristol City versus Aston Villa, and Aston Villa beat Bristol City for the Carabao Cup. Now remember, guys, that Crystal Palace was in a playoff spot after just narrowly missing out on automatic promotion from League 2 into League 1, but at the start of Season 3, guess what? Crystal Palace won the playoffs. They made that run, and they are now in the 3rd tier. As Season 3 comes to a close, guys, we once again start in the 4th division. Which clubs are getting promoted to the 3rd division? Wow, it's Everton. Everton wins the league. Leeds United in 2nd. Nottingham Forest in 3rd. They are making the climb. Brighton, Villa, Wolves, and Bournemouth Bournemouth are your playoff teams, with West Ham missing out, so they stay down there for the 4th season. Brentford won the FA Cup, but they only finished 10th in League 2, below Coventry. Fulham is also struggling, and the same story applies to Burnley and Sunderland. From League 1 going up to the 2nd division, the Championship, more back-to-back promotions for some big clubs. Spurs and Chelsea, 108 points, 107 points. Man United finishes in a playoff, 105 points. Palace in a playoff, Newcastle in a playoff, and Sheffield United in a playoff. Imagine Sheffield United gets promoted instead of Newcastle, Palace, or Man U. That will be the story of the video. This is how the rest of League 1 looks like. Now, who is going down? Who is getting relegated? Port Vale has made their descent. Walsall, Barrow, and Derby County. Well, there we have it. It only took 3 seasons. Man City and Liverpool are going back up to the Premier League for season 4. 109, 108 points. Maybe Arsenal can also go up. They finished in 3rd. But MK Dons, Plymouth Argyle, and Leyton Orient stand in Arsenal's way in the playoffs. Can one of them get promoted instead of Arsenal? Imagine that. Reading, Wickham, Wigan, Rotherham, and Huddersfield are your top 11. The rest of the championship table is as follows, with Burton Albion, Swindon Town, and Accrington Stanley making their way to the 3rd tier. And the Premier League in season 3, my friends, it is Ipswich Town. 92 points over Southampton on 89 points. Birmingham City finished in 3rd, while Bolton finished in 4th. Gillingham in 5th, Luton Town in 6th. Blackpool still stayed competitive and finished in 7th place. Chesterfield dropped off to 10th. The rest of the Premier League table is as follows, with Crawley Town, the first inaugural Premier League winners, staying up in 16th. But unfortunately, that is the end of the Premier League road for Shrewsbury, Bromley, and Crewe. In the FA Cup in season 3, we saw Notts County make a deep run to the semi-finals, where they lost to Brighton on penalties, while Man United beat Manchester City to also get to the final, and Manchester United won the FA Cup in season 3, 3-0 over Brighton. And the Carabao Cup in season 3, which seems to be producing the most ridiculous results out of any other competition so far. It was Everton versus Brentford and Villa versus Bolton. Villa, back-to-back Carabao Cup winners, 3-1 over Brentford, who won the FA Cup and went to the final of the Carabao Cup. Just want to show you some of the European competitions, guys, in season 3. We had Luton Town, we had Notts County, and we had Chesterfield playing Champions League football. Now, they didn't do too well. No, they didn't. Bristol Rovers also played, but they finished in 28th. So none of the English sides actually made it out of the Champions League phase. In the Europa League, we had Bolton, but they finished in 31st, so they didn't get out either. But Brentford did. They finished in the playoff in 13th. They beat Cole in the playoff to actually get to the round of 16, and in the round of 16, how did Brentford do? Brentford, they lost to Celta Vigo on penalties. And the only Conference League club in season 3 was Aston Villa, because they won the Carabao Cup. They did do quite well. They finished in the top 8 and 6th, so they went to the round of 16, and they beat Famalicão from Portugal 4-3 on aggregate to get to the quarterfinals, where they lost to Stuttgart. That's how the European competitions went for our clubs in the 3rd season. Season 4 begins. Aston Villa are back-to-back Carabao Cup winners. They played some European football, but they also were the club that got promoted via the playoffs out of League 2 into League 1. The end of season 4, and we got Brighton winning League 2, with Bournemouth and Sunderland also getting automatic promotion. One of Brentford, FA Cup winners Brentford, still can't get promoted out of the 4th tier. Stoke City, Coventry, and Wolves could also go up, but only one of them. Fulham and Burnley and West Ham are struggling, guys. West Ham won 21 matches and they finished in 10th. From League 1 going up to the Championship in season 4, Manchester United is going up to the Championship because they won the league, and Everton as well. They finished only 1 point behind Man U on 99 points. Maybe Villa, Forest, Palace, or Sheffield United again. They make the playoffs. Can they upset Palace, Forest, and Villa and also get promoted? We're gonna have to wait and see. This is the rest of the League 1 table. Who is going down? It is Millwall, it is Burton Albion, Accrington Stanley, and sadly Oxford United. They finished rock bottom, guys. We got Chelsea and Newcastle going up to the Premier League for season 5. 118 points for Chelsea, 115 for Newcastle. Spurs, Wickham Barnsley, and Reading. That's your playoff picture in the championship. Let me repeat that. Spurs, Wickham, Barnsley, and Reading. I'm gonna lose my mind if Reading, Barnsley, or Wickham get promoted instead of Spurs, guys. The rest of the championship table is as follows, with Crewe, Mansfield Town, and Oldham Athletic going down to the 3rd division. They're done. And your Premier League winner in season 4, are things getting back to normal? Well, it's Manchester City. They finished on 91 points. Liverpool in 2nd, Arsenal in 3rd, but Southampton finished in 4th place, Ipswich Town in 5th, then it is Birmingham City, but Bolton and Luton Town, Blackpool, and Salford, they rounded off the top 10. Those clubs are staying quite competitive. Crawley Town is still staying up, our inaugural Premier League winner. Chesterfield is staying up, but Harrogate Town, Barnet, and Cheltenham Town do not. Cheltenham Town had an atrocious season, only 2 wins. In the FA Cup, City versus United, and City get their revenge. They beat United on penalties, while the other semi-final was Arsenal versus Chelsea, so big boy clubs in the FA Cup semi-finals. The final was City versus Chelsea, and City did the double. They won the cup as well, the FA Cup. But the Carabao Cup, the most surprising competition so far, it continues to bless us, my friends. Your first semi-final, Forest versus Brentford. Brentford again in a cup competition, deep run conversation. And the other one, Ipswich versus Coventry City. The final was Ipswich versus Forest, and Forest won the Carabao Cup. Some silverware. I do want to show you the Conference League in Season 4. Remember, Aston Villa back-to-back Carabao Cup winners, so they went back to the Conference League, and they made quite the run. They went all the way to the final, but they lost to Napoli. And to begin Season 5, it was finally Brentford that got promoted out of League 2 via the playoffs into League 1. Season 5 is in the books, and finally, we got Wolves, Coventry City, and Burnley getting automatic promotion. 1, 2, and 3, with Oxford United, Millwall, Charlton Athletic, and Middlesbrough all in a playoff position. But something is clearly wrong at Fulham, guys. They didn't even make the playoffs. They finished in 9th on 22 wins, 76 points. Just not good enough. And maybe we should talk about West Ham United. They were even further down the table, behind Derby, Stevenage, I mean, right in front of Wimbledon. Fulham and West Ham United by far have been the most disappointing. Achieving promotion to the 2nd division out of the 3rd, automatically it is Brighton and Nottingham Forest, one of Brentford, Palace, QPR, or Sunderland. One of them will go up, but QPR is in the conversation. With Oldham Athletic, Crewe, and Mansfield Town and Swindon Town all getting the boot into Division 4. Spurs and Manchester United are going back up to the Premier League at the end of Season 5. They are the 2 clubs that get automatic promotion, maybe even Villa, who have been on the rise. Everton in a playoff, Plymouth Argyle in a playoff, and Wigan Athletic in a playoff. This is the rest of the championship table. Can Plymouth or Wigan get actually promoted? Well, Shrewsbury, Cambridge, and Harrogate Town, they will not get promoted. They get relegated. And the Premier League in Season 5, it goes to Arsenal. 96 points over Chelsea, over Liverpool, over City, and over Southampton, who were your top 5. Newcastle in 6th, then it is Ipswich, and Luton Town finished in 8th, but Gillingham and Bolton, they stay up in the top 10. Blackpool finishes above Birmingham City. Barnsley and Bristol and Crawley Town all stay up. Chesterfield still stays up, but Colchester, Notts County, and Fleetwood Town, that's the end of their journey. The FA Cup, Spurs versus Rotherham United, your first semi-final. Brighton versus Arsenal, your second semi-final. Sadly, Rotherham United couldn't get by Spurs, but kudos to Rotherham United even getting this far. So the final was Spurs versus Brighton, and Brighton beat Spurs on penalties. Brighton won the FA Cup in Season 5. The Carabao Cup, not as surprising, I would say, as the FA Cup in Season 5, but Everton got to the final, beating Newcastle 5-1 on aggregate, and Liverpool losing to Manchester United on penalties. Everton versus Man U, 10-9 on penalties for Manchester United. Not gonna take anything away from Everton, though. They have been quite impressive in this video. Gotta give some respect to Southampton in Season 5 because they went all the way to the quarterfinals of the Europa League, where they eventually lost to Athletic Club Bilbao. So they actually lost to the eventual winners because Athletic Club Bilbao won the Europa League over Wolfsburg. And Nottingham Forest in the Conference League also made somewhat of a deep run they went to the round of 16 of the Conference League, where they lost to Universitatea Craiova 4-3 on aggregate from Romania. How, guys? How? And I do want to show you this Conference League final. Aberdeen versus Başakşehir. Aberdeen won the Conference League. Which club got promoted into the 3rd division from the 4th division via the playoffs? Guys, it was Millwall. Millwall. They go up before Fulham and West Ham. The end of season 6. Can West Ham and Fulham finally get promoted out of League 2 into League 1? Can they start making their journey all the way up to the top? Guys, they're not in the top 3. It's Middlesbrough, it's Oxford United, and Stevenage. Those are your top 3 in the 4th division. And in the playoffs, it's Derby County, Stoke, Charlton, and West Ham in 7th. So only one of West Ham and Fulham even made the playoffs. Can West Ham get promoted via the playoffs? I'm not sure, because it looks like Derby and Stoke and Charlton are miles better. Okay, Fulham. Okay, we should probably just end the video now. Fulham, 4-13 and 29 on 25 points. Bottom of the league. Bottom of League 2, Fulham. If we had the National League in the game, guys, Fulham would be going down there. From League 1 going up to the Championship, the 2nd tier, it is Crystal Palace, and surprisingly, it's actually Wolves. Automatic promotion for both of those clubs, with Bournemouth, Sunderland, Hull City, and Leeds United holding on to the playoff spots. One of them will also go up. This is the rest of the table. Wrexham remains in League 1, so does West Brom and QPR, and Swansea and Preston, and Portsmouth with Blackburn getting relegated to the 4th tier. Harrogate, Shrewsbury, and Cambridge will join them as well. And going up to the Premier League in season 6, it is Brighton and Nottingham Forest. Both have won a trophy in this video, deservingly so, moving back up to the top tier, with Brentford, Everton, Villa, or Notts County. Notts County got relegated out of the Premier League, but stayed competitive in the Championship, finishing in a playoff position. The rest of the table looks like this, and going out of the Championship to League 1, it is Bromley, Tranmere, and Rotherham United. Arsenal wins the league again in season 6, back-to-back seasons Premier League winners. Liverpool, Newcastle, Chelsea, and Spurs are your top 5. Man City in 6th, Man United in 7th, Luton, Ipswich Town, and Southampton round off the top 10, with Birmingham, Blackpool, and Salford City. Actually, they've kind of just gone under the radar. Salford City just staying up quietly in the Premier League. Gillingham and Bolton and Chesterfield. Bristol Rovers also stay up, but Crawley Town, who did win the Premier League in the first season, they get relegated, with Barnsley and Plymouth Argyle, which, now that I think about, is quite the big shock. Plymouth Argyle made it all the way back up to the Prem. They are the team that got promoted out of the Championship playoffs instead of Everton and Aston Villa. I didn't even think about that. This has been a monumental run by Plymouth Argyle. In the FA Cup, we have a brand new winner. It was Newcastle versus Arsenal, Chelsea versus Leeds, and Chelsea won the FA Cup 2-0 over Newcastle United. And yet another back-to-back winner in the Carabao Cup. Derby County makes the Carabao Cup semi-finals against Arsenal. Lincoln City makes the Carabao Cup semi-finals against Man United. Man United beats Arsenal in the Carabao Cup final. They win back-to-back Carabao Cups, if you remember, just like Aston Villa did a few years back. In season 6, Brighton and Chelsea were playing Europa League football, and unfortunately they faced each other in the quarterfinals, with Chelsea getting the better of Brighton 2-1 on aggregate. Chelsea went to the semi-finals. They lost to Frankfurt 3-1, but Frankfurt won the Europa League over Barcelona. What the heck's Barcelona doing playing Europa League football? And in the Conference League, because Man United won the Carabao Cup, they played there. Now, they went all the way to the Conference League final, but they lost it to Chelsea 2.0. Strasbourg, they lost on penalties. So season 6 is completely done. Are we going to do one more season? We can't just end here. I think we got to do one more year. At the beginning of season 7, I can tell you that West Ham did not go up to League 1 via the playoffs. It was Stoke City, guys. West Ham and Fulham still in the 4th tier. This is it, guys. The end of season 7. Fulham and West Ham, we're still looking at them, and let's see if they're in the top 3. They're not. Blackburn, Derby, and Sheffield Wednesday are the 3 clubs that get promoted, but West Ham does finish in 4th, so maybe they could go up with Charlton, Accrington Stanley, and Northampton Town. That's the company that they're keeping nowadays. Fulham, unfortunately, had back-to-back seasons, finishing bottom, 24th. 9, 10, and 27 on 37 points. From League One going up to the championship, it is Sunderland and Middlesbrough automatically, maybe Bristol City, QPR, Bournemouth, and Norwich City are also in a playoff. This is how the rest of the table in Season 7 in League One finished, guys. Who got relegated? Tranmere, Stevenage, Bromley, and Wrexham. Millwall avoided relegation. In the championship, going back up to the Premier League, it is Everton and Crystal Palace. They did their journey. It took them a while, but they completed it. One of Hull City, Wolves, Brentford, or maybe MK Dons. Yes, MK Dons stayed in the championship, and they were very, very competitive. Same thing with Notts County, Leyton Orient, Crawley Town, and Wickham. They were all there. Huddersfield Town. Now, who got relegated? It was Reading, Colchester, and Newport County. While Plymouth Argyle, after getting relegated from the Premier League, they finished in 17th. And Liverpool in Season 7 won the Prem, 1 point above Chelsea on 78 points and 1 point above Man City as well on 77 points. Spurs finished in 4th on 75. Then it was Arsenal, Man United, Newcastle, Aston Villa, Luton Town in 9th place above Brighton, and Birmingham City finished above Nottingham Forest. Southampton, Ipswich, and Salford City with Bolton and Gillingham. Guys, Salford City, Bolton, and Gillingham, they all stayed up this entire time in the Premier League, but Blackpool, Chesterfield, and Bristol Rovers did not. They got relegated in the final year. The FA Cup, we're gonna end with a bang, my friends. The first semi-final, Birmingham City versus Newcastle United. The second semi-final, Everton versus Bristol City. Your final, Newcastle versus Bristol City, who upset Everton, and then they upset Newcastle United in the final on penalties. Season 7 FA Cup winners, Bristol City. And finally, the Carabao Cup in Season 7, Chelsea versus Man United, semi-final number 1. Everton versus Forest, semi-final number 2. So in the 7th season, Everton went to the semi-finals of the FA Cup, to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup, and they lost them both. The final was Chelsea versus Forest. Chelsea won the Carabao Cup 3-1. One last thing I do want to show you is Newcastle United. They participated in the Conference League. They lost to Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich was playing Conference League football. I guess they dropped off completely. They did win the Conference League over Feyenoord, but you don't expect to see Bayern Munich playing Conference League football. 7 full seasons of the backwards English football system. We've completed it, guys. As I always ask at the end of every single video, I want to hear from you in the comments. Which club surprised you the most? Which clubs disappointed you the most? I think it has to be Fulham and West Ham, right? What about the smaller clubs like Salford City and Gillingham that stayed up in the Premier League the entire time? Luton Town and Birmingham City establishing themselves as a quality Premier League club. We had Plymouth Argyle make it to the Premier League. I just can't stop thinking about that one. Take care of yourselves, guys. Take care of each other. Stay happy, stay healthy. Always keep smiling, and I'll see you guys in the next couple of days in another video. As I said in the beginning of the video, I'm working on some new content to introduce to you guys on the channel, so please bear with me. I don't want this channel and our community to continue being just about FIFA or FC26 or whatever. I want to introduce new things. I want to talk about football IRL, maybe even try out FM26. What do you guys think about that? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and I'll talk to you guys very, very soon. Peace, 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 peace.